Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles, better known as the Great Millstone. Shalom to the 1/3, and blessings as well as to the fellow laborers, teaching the same doctrine in truth and in sincerity, the water for your labor, and death to 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. I'm gonna title this something to the effect of walk ye in it. And just kind of get into the topic right off bat. This is Isaiah 30:21. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. And, I was kind of meditating on this a little bit. And, that's the Spirit letting you know when you first come across this truth, when you hear it, is going to click for you, for one. It's going to click, and, it's true because you've always questioned and just been observant of how, religion is all a bunch of crap. You go there and people still, eyeing you, looking at you funny. No one ever, no one fulfills any part of the scriptures. You're never learning anything while you're there. Whenever you have questions and you ask your so-called preacher or pastor, he'll play you off or he'll demonize you for questioning, him in the church. So I was just kind of meditating on the walk, the aspect of the walk. And another precept that came to mind was Galatians. Let me get it. Galatians 5 and 16, or 5 and 6. What's it like it? Galatians 5:16. And to the point it says, This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So, when you found this, it was, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's not something you were forced to go into as, like you were in the world as a young child. You don't realize why you're sitting here. Nothing's being explained to you. Your parents don't even know what the hell they're doing. So really, how can you walk in that way? Nothing, there was no Spirit telling you that, oh, religion, this is correct. If anything, the Spirit was telling you that this shit's wrong, something's off. So how could you ever walk in it? Like, what is the way and how do you walk in it? And that, Galatians 5, I want to use this to highlight that question and answer it. Now, walking in the Spirit is not fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Now, if you're dying daily, right, and you're mortifying your members daily, that means you're going to do less and less of the things of the world. So constantly drinking, constantly ranting and raving and being in a mode of mirth, that's not correct. That's not the Spirit. Okay, now I'm going to jump up at verse 13. It says, For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. So because we have this liberty and we know that, we're going to be delivered. We're Israelites. We hope to be delivered. We know that the elect are going to be delivered. We hope we're part of that number. Right? So we know that Israel, we know we're going to be delivered. Right? Israel. Okay, the elect of the nation. Now with that liberty, it says don't use it for an occasion to the flesh. Why? Because the flesh is dead to you. This world is supposed to be dead to you. Let the dead bury their dead. You're not a part of that house of feasting. You're part of the house of mourning. You're spiritual. Yahweh Shai We're in a time of mourning. That's why we wear sackcloth. That's why we don't have elaborate garments. Even, I'll say this, even with the beads, I try not to wear too much of that stuff because, well, for one, everything's defiled and corrupt. And two, I don't want to be seen as you know, doing too much, too flashy, drawing too much attention to appearance. That's just myself. Okay. It says, but by love serve one another. By love, deed and in truth. How are you treating each other? How are you behaving? How are you serving one another? Not how are you being served by others, but how are you serving one another? This is all part of that walk. This is that walk that you're supposed to be walking in. The Spirit's telling you this is the way, walk ye in it. These laws, statutes, and commandments, yes, but we're going to keep reading. Okay? Verse 14, for the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So there you go. This is the way, walk ye in it. Okay, the law is fulfilled in one word. In one word, the idea and the concept in the mind that you're supposed to have is to love thy neighbor as thyself. So if you want people, the way that you're treating the brothers around you, that's the way you want to be treated. So don't get upset when they start treating you the way that you've been treating them. Okay, this is the way, walk ye in it. And some guys have a problem with this. Okay. Verse 15, but if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. Okay. So if you're gonna devour and bite one another, okay, take heed, be careful that you're not consumed one of another. So you're not fully taking on, okay, things that are incorrect to take on. Because when you devour, you consume. You're digesting. You're receiving something, right? Take heed that you be not consumed one of another. Now you might see, a brother doing, a certain activity or thing. That doesn't mean you have to do it and be consumed by him, by his spirit. You, at the same time, we have the same mind, but we're different members. So just because, I'll use an example. You might see a brother who's always burning incense. Does that mean that you need to always be burning incense? No. Does it mean it's a problem if you don't like certain flavors or smells, or you don't like it all the time? Is that a problem? No. Okay, don't be consumed one of another. As an example, okay? This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So that's that self-denying that you need to be involved with. Because when you go to the church, it's all about, everyone's about, making themselves feel bigger and better. And, they'll want everyone to be like so-and-so in the church. Everyone's got to be like this couple or this family. Or it's like, no, man, different bodies, different gifts. Okay. And you got to be careful what you consume. You don't want to pick up a bad habit. You want to pick up good, decent, wholesome habits. Okay. 1 second. I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay. Actually, we'll keep going then. Verse 15. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 16. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. So I'm gonna stop that there, and just leave that there as food for thought. Okay, walk ye in it. Walk ye in the Spirit. The Spirit isn't about you. It's about others. It's about serving others. This whole thing that we're into is about serving others, not serving yourself. Okay? And, dealing with brothers, you do have to keep your own identity. And be careful not to take on bad habits one of another, and don't steal the identity one of another. Be yourself in this thing, okay? Now, is that saying that if you see a brother who's always into the smoothies and stuff that no, of course, drink your smoothies and stuff. Just don't be overboard with these. Don't go overboard with these things, okay? Don't go overboard with these things if it's not in your spirit to do so, because maybe your diet, your stomach would freak out. Your immune system could freak out because you're not as studied. You know, a brother might, you might ask him what he's up to, and he might be into like edible peroxides or something that he's built his body up to. You coming in fresh off of Carl's Jr.'s and Jack in the Box, you're going to tear yourself up. Okay? Just because you see a brother grabbing butts all over the club, you know, and grabbing on women and, you know, talking to them crazy. Look, man, don't do things of that nature, man. You understand the balance here between the good and the bad things? Okay, so anyway, with that, I'm going to close it up there, and shalom.